We are live.
We are
live.
live. Danny and Darren fired up today. Quick little sneak preview, Darren. What's going to be talked about on the following call for the national gathering, buddy?
Well, I'm really excited. We've got two up-and-coming leaders, new agency owner Craig McManaman, who's just a monster producer and agency builder. He's going to be sharing a lot about his journey, his mindset. Anthony Mendocino, the #1 personal producer in the Pac West agency last year, just under a hair under 300,000 on his own pen. New key leader, up-and-coming agency owner. So we got a lot of good stuff talking about some good nuggets to keep you in the mind space of completing the task. And even though you're moving up the levels of leadership, keeping focused on the next goal and how that's going to lay out for people. And of course, promoting conference. That's what we're here to talk about.
Fired up, buddy. I was so excited to get Darren on, guys. He just has so much to offer and give back to this organization. So we're going to kick this thing off on the builders call, guys. Be sure and plug into the national call where we will do a little money, muscle, mind. We'll roll into some leaderboards. We're going to celebrate some big wins. And then we will slide right into Mr. Darren Stubbs and his featured guest. So, Mr. Young, I know we just got off a powerful hour and 7-minute long agency owner call.
Correct.
It is not uncommon for us to call on you to be the featured speaker after a significant monumental event and our huddle. I hope you see that. I hope you see the importance of you, and it might seem like it's a crazy last-minute text message from Spivey asking you to join a builder's call, a national call, or get on stage with a yellow notepad.
Got him.
Buddy, it is no accident.
I stay ready. Okay. I don't want to get ready. I stay ready.
If you're not an agency owner with us, and if you are an agency owner, you're probably running to the restroom and trying to grab some water, and your hand's probably cramping from writing down some personal goals that we need to accomplish between here and conference. Reach out to your agency owner, guys. Shoot them a text message, give them some grace. They're going to get a lot of text messages. They're going to get a lot of requests for what was discussed just now on the agency owners call. But guys, it was a very clear call to action in 4 very specific steps that everybody on this call can take as leaders and as mentors for what we need to accomplish all of our goals. And I don't mean all of our goals in the form of quality or symmetry. I mean in each and every one of your agencies and the people that you're responsible for leading. Danny, we talked about leaning in. We talked about commitment. We talked about creating momentum going into conference. You've taught me more than any other individual about this specific topic. Give everybody a little bit of your perspective. What does it look like to make a commitment and actually stick to it?
Well, it seems to be harder and harder in this country these days. Okay. It's easier to not do anything. You know, I was raised hearing that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You know, how hard is it to eat an apple a day? Not very, but it's easier to not eat it. And that's the path a lot of people choose. So, you know, but speaking of conference is the answer to just about everything you need here, you know, especially if you're new, semi-new, you're always gonna have the thought of I can't afford to go. And we're always going to tell you can't afford not to go because, you know, who you are right now is the person that got you where you are right now. So if you don't like where you are right now, whether it's financially or psychologically or whatever, then you need to go because you got yourself where you are. You know, we all are where we're supposed to be based on our choices, really. And so what conference will do for you is it will take you from hoping this works for you to you knowing it works for you. If you'll work the system and you'll work and you're coachable and you have a good attitude, you can't fail here. You just absolutely can't fail. But I know this, Todd. When I first got in the insurance industry 38 years ago, about a year in, I went to, I borrowed $100 from somebody. I'm not even sure if I ever paid that person back. I need to find him, whoever it is. But I borrowed $100
need help.
to go ride with 4 other guys in a small car to Atlanta, Georgia, where I stayed in a hotel room with 8 other people so that I could sit in front of John Maxwell in a theater for 8 hours, where he went through the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership before it was published. Now there was 2,999 other people in this theater, and about 15 minutes in, it seemed like it was only me and John. John was talking directly to me. So for $100 I borrowed from somebody else, changed my life. Absolutely, totally changed my life. And so what conference does for people, conference gives you a big piece of this puzzle we're all trying to put together. Now, can you put it together without that piece? I don't think so. See, what I know is nobody here, I've been here 9.5 years now, Todd, and nobody has ever won big here not going to conference. Now, you may be a unicorn. You may think that you can do it, okay? Maybe you can. See, I was never good enough to take that chance. I was never good enough to not go to something, not commit to something, and let other people go and get their piece of the puzzle and use that piece to beat me with. I'm not willing to do that. So, talent is never, ever enough. You need to get all you can get here, and you get to go to conference. Because if you don't go, here's what I'm going to tell you right now is going to happen. If you don't go, you're going to be the same person the day after conference than you were the day before conference. But if you do go, you're going to be a different person. And if you want to go to a different place, you want to go to a better place, you're going to have to become a different, better person. That's all there is to it. It's just simple math to me, okay? But that's the deal. Here's what's super cool is that it's not just with Symmetry. You look out in the world, you look at the NBA playoffs. These are elite athletes. This is a year-round commitment for them. They know that they have to eat a certain way. They have to train a certain way. They have to put in a tremendous amount of time if they want to be elite. Now, if you want to just be average and ordinary, just be average and ordinary. That doesn't take much to do that, okay? You can do that. If you got nowhere in your life that specifically that you want to get to, then any road will take you there. It's your plan. It all comes down to what you want. And if you want something here, if you want something better in your life, you're going to have to commit to a few things. And conference is the biggest thing, okay? But it's not just that. It's committing to our system. It's committing to getting on our call. It's committing to be coachable, committing to work hard, committing to have a good attitude, committing to chase winning, okay? You got to chase it. You got to find the people that can help you, and you got to chase those people. So that's what's cool about this company. Everybody will help everybody. It doesn't have to be your upline. Everybody will help. Everybody will tell you exactly what they're doing every day, every hour of every day. There's no secrets here, okay? But winners know. Winners seek out coaching. I mean, Tiger Woods had a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Everybody needs a coach. A coach can see things that you can't see when you're in the middle of the battle. So, I just can't encourage people enough to going to conference is the greatest gift you can give yourself this year. But if you won't help yourself, how can you expect anybody else to help you? So we're going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And you're going to leave there. I'm telling you, you're going to leave there because it's not going to be what you hear there or what you see there as much, I believe, as what you feel there. You're going to go there and you're going to feel this thing is something special. This is not some little thing that they started in their garage last year, okay? This is a big deal right now. And yet, as good as it is right now, this is as bad as it's ever going to be.
Yep.
So
They didn't start it in their garage yesterday,
hold.
but they did start it in their garage about 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Probably a cellar somewhere.
They didn't. What is it? They didn't have 2 wooden nickels to rub together. Brandon's trying to recruit me from the side of the interstate, trying to walk around his car because he had been sleeping in the back of the back seat. Praying Meredith Ellison called with one more appointment for him to run so that he could put food on the table the following year.
Sure. See, people need to understand when they come here, you don't start with success, you start with struggle. And if you stay here long enough, you understand that struggle is your friend. Struggle will make you stronger, not weaker. You get through one struggle, it makes you stronger and prepares you better for the next struggle. But if you go through enough struggle, you'll get to the point where you can't get knocked down. That's pretty cool. So instead of, just succumbing to the struggle, you need to rejoice in the struggle. You need to be glad that somebody else that couldn't handle it didn't get it, that you got it and you can handle it. But what you're going through, whatever that is, what you're going through is nothing more than transportation of what you're going to. But you gotta learn these things, and you learn these things by getting on everything you can get on. Learn from the people that have been through. Because if you went here, everybody's got the same story, and that story involves struggle. Part of it. You don't want to struggle, go to Target. 8-year-old can punch a card. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I know that we talk about one of my favorite things, and it correlates to what you just discussed, Danny, but a lot of people are probably that attended the AO call, some of the directs that attended the directs call yesterday. You're going to hear it today in the national call. You're going to hear it again in a couple weeks when we're going to have an ears huddle for everybody that's earned ears. You're going to hear the same theme repeated about this mission that we're going on this run to conference. And it's all about 4 things. We weren't on the call earlier. Here's your chance to write them down. Sneak preview. It's all about engagement. It's all about leads, working new leads, being open to coaching on these new leads. It's all about personal production. So many agency owners, all the way up to even some levels of directs, have got to understand the importance of them leading from the front, not just simply saying what needs to happen in their team, but literally showing the way. I think Nate Alford put that so beautifully on one of his significant runs to becoming an equity partner. Went out and did $60,000 on his own pen in the final month. Why? He said he literally was not going to leave it up to his team on whether or not he received a bonus.
That's right.
It's not up to your team to create a bonus for you. It is up to you to do the work that you need to do. And if you do that consistently, guess what? Your team will show up. They'll be there for you. 4th, conference. We've got to get people conference. We've got to use the old Danny Young saying, you've got to be around the fire. Danny, talk to us about campfires.
Well, the absolute big majority of the people in America are unhappy right now. I mean, they're unhappy mainly financially, okay? Because that's the number one cause of stress is financial stress. And the last 3 years, you look at what's happened the last 3 years, you got food is up, inflation's up, interest rates are up, airline tickets are up, gas is way up. And so you got people that make this kind of money, and these were their expenses, and that gap between those 2 numbers is your standard of living. Incomes are the same, but the expenses have gone up. Your gap got smaller, which means your standard of living is down. It's not fun to go backwards. It's not fun to cancel your Disney trip this year. It's not fun to tell your kids, no, you can't have that. And no, you're not going to play summer, whatever you do in the summer. No, no, no. And this has caused a tremendous amount of stress in people. And what we do is we fix that. We can change that. Okay. But you have to make the decision that you're willing to put in the work to learn something new. We all come here by ourselves. Every one of us shows up by ourselves. And what we do with that, I used to say that, you come in, you get 40 acres and a mule. And what you do with that 40 acres and a mule is totally up to you. Marshall and Edward, they did pretty well with their 40 acres. Edward doesn't want all the land. He just wants the land next to his land. Okay. And so he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Marshall's getting bigger and bigger. But understand, some people get their 40 acres and a mule and they complain because you didn't give them a tractor, or they plant nothing and they just wait for for stuff to pop up out of the ground. Doesn't work that way. We're looking for people that can commit to something because they want to get better. They want their kids to have better, or they may want more freedom in their life. But what's going on right now in America? I read yesterday that credit card debt, and department store debt is at $986 billion. It's fixing to go over $1 trillion in the next quarter. $1 trillion. Interest rates at an all-time high. They're over 20%. And so you hear people say, we can't seem to get ahead. No, let me help you with that. Okay. You're not going to get ahead because you got credit card debt. You're paying 20% on money that you owe, and the bank's paying you 1% on the money you're trying to save. And this article, what tickled me, this article gave 5 ways to get out of that debt. Okay. None of the 5 involve making more money. None of it, which means it's not going to work for the vast majority of people out there because they don't have any more money. We can fix that. Okay. You can come here and you can have an impact on people, not just yourself. You have an impact on a boatload of people. I think we submitted almost 28,000 applications last year in my agency. 28,000. That's 28,000 families that we tried to help last year. I don't think there's a lot of companies out there. I can't imagine. I mean, I think Symmetry was like 250,000, something like that. This is silly stuff that we get to do. But once again, it's going to take a person being willing to change, because if you don't accept the fact that where you are is because of who you are, you're not going to fix it. You're not going to fix it. See, I want to be in a better place. Anybody that's ever been in debt, you know what I'm talking about when I say you get to a point where you can't take a deep breath. You can't even expand your chest to take a deep breath because of financial stress. How am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? And what that stress does, it affects your relationships. It affects every other aspect of your life. We can fix that. And if you're in that situation, you can fix that by coming here, and they got people who want to help you. So there's just nothing out there, nothing out there like this.
It's something that you and Sandy continue to make a tremendous impact on by being able to be great communicators to the opportunity and the importance of being at conference and leveraging the system to help do some of the heavy lifting for you. And I want to say that your journey's not always been easy. You've had trials, you've had times of struggle, you've had times of trying to put yourself in a position to understand that you needed to grow and that you had to become a bigger battery for more people to plug into. You've been at some companies in the past that you did the same amount of work or even more and didn't make as much money.
Correct.
You've been through these seasons of life, and I think one of the reasons that everybody loves seeing your sweet face is because you come from a place of experience. You've been there, done, seen that. You always talk about it's not going to be easy.
Correct.
But it is worth it.
Correct.
For somebody out there that is going through the it ain't easy part, what's on the other side and what does worth it look like?
Well, and look, you're correct. And I'm not the only person that's been through stuff. Okay. Anybody that's got any age on them at all that lived through, some of the recessions and all this sort of stuff, or, they weren't with the right vehicle. But I'm going to tell you, Todd, as tough as some times have been for me and Sandy way back when, grateful for every one of them, because those are the times that turn you into who you become. A brick wall is there for a reason. It wants to see how bad you want something. And so, we went from, I talked before about Sandy and I are going to make 54 years in August. And about 40 of those years, we talked about money every day, 40 years. And none of those conversations were about having too much. Okay. And so we had conversations about money, Todd, from 5 feet apart that we could have had from 50 yards apart. Okay. They were so loud. But see, money is nice. Understand this. Money's nice. Money lets you do a lot of things for a lot of people. But there is just absolutely nothing like freedom. Nothing like freedom. Nothing like having nobody telling you what to do. But see, you don't start there. You have to scratch and claw your way there. And it starts really by finding the right vehicle. Once again, I've been in the insurance industry for 38 years. I've been with Symmetry 9.5 years. So for 38 years, I have been in the correct race, right race. But I was on the wrong horse until I found Symmetry. And now I'm on the right horse. And what you can get here, What is available to you here is unlimited. See, this thing, nothing like freedom. There's nothing like owning your life. There's nothing like realizing. Some of y'all there's a lot of people in Symmetry there already, but when this day hit me, I'm gonna tell you, it was a glorious day when I realized one day that the money is just not going to stop because of the Symmetry system, because we work the system, because we built and we attracted some really good people. We engage with those people. You know, I'm something about engagement. See, I think that training speaks to somebody's head, but I think engagement speaks to their heart. And this is a heart business. You win here by out-hearting people. You don't win here by being smarter than they are. You out-heart them. And that was right up me and Sandy's alley, can I tell you? And so there's nothing like not having to think about money. Now, me and Sandy still talk about money, but they're different conversations. Okay, it's what do we do with this stuff? Who can we help with this stuff? There's nothing like, for example, realizing that we've had the opportunity through Symmetry to determine how our grandchildren's grandchildren get to live. That's pretty cool to me and her. Okay, because most of us my age, the ones of us that are left my age, okay, Brian, those people, most of them grew up poor. They didn't know anything about money. It all changed in the 70s with the oil embargo. And then that's when interest rates went to 18% and inflation went to 18%, and banks found out they could charge huge interest rates and people would pay it. And it's all changed since then. When I was at Exxon in 1970 something, gas was 25 cents a barrel, 25 cents a barrel, and had been for forever. But see, now it's not. People are having to pay for daycare. People are having to pay for private school. People are having to pay with money they don't have. We can change that. We can fix their debt problem with our debt-free life, and we can change their retirement with tax-free retirements. We can do that for people. There's 200 million people out there right now between the ages of 18 and 77. That's our recruiting market. And we've got what, 4,000 here writing business every month out of 200 million. That's silly, but it's worth it because you get to live a life of impact. See, I don't know which one of y'all said this, but I wrote it down and stole it. Okay. That success is measured by what you get, but significance is measured by what you give. See, y'all encourage us to be significant, not just successful. People say, why you still work? You're old as Methuselah. Why are you still working? Here's why I'm still working. Because I may have mine, but a lot of my people don't have theirs yet. How can I not work? See, my job is to get up every day and find somebody I can have a positive impact on, that I can move a little further along in this journey. That's all I want to do. Just help people move a little further along. Pick them up when they fall down, tell them it's going to be okay. Let me tell you what happened to me, and look, here's how it turned out. It's not fatal. Get your butt up. Let's go. We got things to do. We got people to help. We got lives to change. That's what I do.
That last line, seriously, chill bumps every time. It is the reason that I'm in this business. Guys, if you've not watched the most recent Todd Talks, I'll do a shameless plug. The final guest of season number 3 was Mr. Danny Young. And it was honestly that conversation multiple times on my drive back and forth to Atlanta to go to my little apartment while selling pharmaceuticals across this country, living 5 nights a week away from my family. And Danny Young never tried to recruit me into Symmetry or to the business. And it was that conversation when he said, Spidey, when you realize one day that I'm not in the insurance business, I'm in the life-changing business, that everything stopped and made sense to me. That is the opportunity we all have at this company.
Right.
So grateful for the founders, so grateful for the Danny Youngs, the Edward Pritchett's, the Linwood Watkins, the Kevin Purdy's, the Brian Delaney's. So grateful for so many people that have been here from the early years when it was hard.
It was hard.
It was hard. Brandon Ellison was pacing on up and down the interstate praying for one more appointment with Meredith Ellison with an address to go to. And even if he sold that piece of business, he had to wait 2 weeks for a check to come in the mail. Guys, there's nobody on this call right now that wants to make a difference financially for their family, or to put back into their own business, or to reach down and help somebody else find success and help them invest to get on their feet. Everybody on this call can go write a policy in the next 4 hours and be paid before you go to sleep.
Right. Crazy.
The opportunity in front of us and what this company offers is second to none. And Danny, you have, as always, just delivered on an extremely high level when called upon after a significant rally point for this company, buddy. We appreciate you. You knocked it out of the park. I'm so glad that you listened to me and learned over the years. You are my best pupil.
Hey, let me say this, Tom. I can never, if I live to be 120 years old, my goal is to be the first 130 contract at 130 years old. But, you know, I had a plan when it was 110 contract. Y'all keep bumping that thing up. It's bigger, more of a challenge. But I'm gonna tell you this: if I live to be 100, I can never, ever work hard enough, impact enough people to repay what Brandon and Casey and Brian have done for me and my family, ever. So I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all once again.
Man,
Beautiful, man.
crushed it, buddy.
Beautiful, buddy.
Danny Young, Sandy Young, my forever upline. So grateful for them. Brandon and Casey, B-dubs, let's slide over right quick and kick off the next national call with a quick little video.
Well, today we're out at the Warren Wilson Trail in Asheville, North Carolina, cleaning up for Earth Day.
I know April's Earth Day month, and so we just want to protect our paths in the Asheville local area.
I think it's important that we align ourselves with a company that also takes care of the community that we're a part of.
Coming from this community, I mean, I have family that is right down the road. I've gone to Owen High School. This is a lot different for me in that sense of this is the community that I'm looking to always for help, for guidance, for all the things. So to help do anything for that community is always going to be a bonus.
I think fulfillment is tied to a lot more than money. It comes from giving back and having a set of core values that you live by that are more than just a plaque on the wall. So it's important to live out those core values with action.
Quility is really great at making community outreach sustainable and accessible by leaning in and learning what our corporate staff, our agents, what they're interested in. And we look for those areas where they can plug in and provide those opportunities for them.
Quility makes it easy for us to give back to the community because they have programs like this, like to protect the path.
You know, there are things that I've already done with this company that was never even asked of me anywhere else. We didn't do trash pickups. We were probably more of a part of the problem than anything else. And this is something that I love to do. It's what I want to do in my own time. But having this kind of push and having this kind of group support to get out and get it done, always awesome.
I think that impact means that we make a conscious effort to take care of those and the environment around us.
Impact is having an effect on other people with your actions, and hopefully that you're intentional about your actions so that effect is positive.
Impact to me is literally things like this, to be able to look around and see the larger group of people, all with a common goal, all with a common mind, and always looking to do something good with the community, always trying to be impactful and intentional.
To me, impact means making a difference in someone else's life, making a difference in your community, making a difference on the environment, on the land, on the earth, however you can give back.
Well done, team.
Boom.
Well done. And well done, Whit Zay,
Way to go, Whit.
for organizing that. That was a really fun day, and everybody in the community that we ran into on our trails mentioned something or gave us the head nod or gave us the thank you for this. Like, it was just such a cool, fun day.
Man,
Fired up for that. I think we got so much good stuff going on today's conference call. Brandon and Casey, I know every week, you guys. I see the effort that you guys put in to make this an important time to gather and come speak to everybody when you can. I also get to see the flip side of the disappointment of a lot of meetings and a lot of exciting stuff happening behind the scenes for you guys to be able to show up and be present. And we're just very grateful for you guys and the organization. And I think we got Whit coming on to join us here in just a minute. And Mr. Zay. Is it Miss Zay?
Sorry, you get a lesser Zay today.
Yeah. Well,
we'll take what we can get, Doug.
Anytime you're going to throw Jamie Susie in the mix, you get an automatic 15 bonus points, which will probably make up the gap of not having Whit on with us today.
I don't know. Following Danny Young, that's a big feat. Put me on after him.
You got it.
Always. Mr. Doug, talk to us.
Yeah,
buddy.
well, I won't say much other than thank you so much to Regional Agency Director Jamie Susie, who has joined us today as we continue our conversation on Muscle Month. So this is the third week. Thank you so much to Cicely Newsom last week for jumping on. And Jamie, I'll pass it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Cicely, from last week. I wish I had cool glasses like you do. You rock those. Thank you for just pouring into us. I'm so grateful to be here. Thanks for having me. And a quick plug for the Women's Empowerment event. I wanted to just remind you guys that are on here August 9th in Denver, the day before conference starts. Vanessa Loader will be there talking to us about just helping with the overwhelm. I don't know if I'm sure most of you who started here live in a world of just overwhelmed with building a business and having kids and trying to balance it all. And she's going to help us quiet the noise and find our superpower and finally feel satisfied in our lives. So make sure you log into Quility and register for that. I'm going to be there.
All our men out there, you are encouraged and welcome to attend the Women's Empowerment event at conference.
I'll be
there. Just sign up and be there. I'm sure we all have a lot to learn, especially as we look to empower and support the women in our lives. So thank you.
Yep. My husband will be there. He's the one, when Sarah Reineke sent me a message back in 2020 and said, hey, we're going to do this insurance thing. He's like, you're going to do this. Is like, everybody needs this. You need to go look at it. So I give him credit for why I came here 3 years ago. So again, thanks for having me. Super grateful to be here. And before leaderboards, I know people are like, where are the boards? I live for those. But I won't take up too much time. I'm just excited to be part of this series. I love it. I wasn't here initially when you guys rolled it out, so I'm glad that you brought it back again. But I'm Jamie Susie, direct to Sarah Reineke, Jacob Hogue in the Marshall Wayland hierarchy, and direct to Symmetry. Super grateful to be so. I've been here for 3 years. I took my exam. Oh man, 3 years ago, Monday of this week. So what a journey.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, 3 years
that's
ago.
a big anniversary.
Thanks.
It is a big
What's the size of your organization right now, just 3 short years later?
how
many sales are you averaging on a weekly or monthly basis? Let's just start there.
we're between 100 and 150 a week in premium volume.
Hello.
With about 67 writers a week. Yeah, it's crazy. We doubled our issued business in 6 months from 200 to
Yes.
110. So
Nicely done.
I tell the story all the time, Jamie, but back to the Wayland altitude conference, and like you were so kind and patient, and you waited in line for like 20 minutes to grab me to just say hello. And fast forward 3 years later, and I'm going to be in Denver, and I'm going to be standing in a 45-minute line to tell you hello. Amazing.
So funny, so grateful, and thank you for waiting. We're waiting it out to say hello to me there, and for taking a picture. Appreciate it. But I know we have a big call to get to and lots of leaderboards, so I will give some tips and chat a little bit about the muscle portion of Money Muscle Mind. If you guys follow me at all on social media, you know that it's a staple in my life to go to the gym. I go every morning. I wake up at 5:02. I know that seems weird. I do some weird things, but I go to the gym at 5:30, Monday through Friday. And it's just committing before I go to bed to do that just makes you be the person you want to be. I now say, like, I work out Monday through Friday and I do it because here's the thing. And Danny talked, like, what does it take to commit to something like going to conference? It's the same thing with working out. There's a difference between having interest in it, right? And then there's a difference between actually being committed. When you're interested in doing something, you only do it when your circumstances permit, right? When you feel good, when the weather is good, that's when you do those things that you're interested in. But when you're actually committed to it, there's no excuses. There's only results. So for me, and what it takes to be committed is by doing it, is deciding. And Casey, you've talked about this a lot on calls, deciding to go to conference, deciding to hit that next promotion. You decide, and then all you have to do is walk that out. It's just a huge part for me. And when I came here, I knew every leader at the top had this level of emotional stability. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to walk through to become more stable of a leader emotionally? And for me, that's working out. If I don't go to the gym for a few days, it's hard to get back on it. It's hard to get my mind in the right place. It's hard to build a business when I'm not feeling good. So that's what we have to do. Create that muscle memory. And you have to break through so many mental hiccups here in order to succeed. You're not ever going to feel like it. I don't wake up at 5:02 and I'm fired up to go to the gym, but I've already committed to doing it. My clothes are laid out. I'm ready to make that happen because I committed prior to falling asleep. And here you do that over and over again. You get motivated when you do things. You hear people saying the harder you work, the luckier you get. The results are going to come when you're taking that action. Your brain, guys, is wired to keep you comfortable. It's like when you have a baby, anyone on here who's had kids, actually birthed children, you forget what that pain felt like, and then you go and do it again. And I can speak from experience. I've birthed 3 kids, so I get it. Your brain's wired to protect you, which is why sometimes doing those workouts or moving through this business can feel like it's hard, but that motivation comes by doing. And it gives you energy. It gives me so much energy for the day when I started off by moving my body. And I say this to our agency all the time, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's very hard to have goals in business, but not have goals in every other area of your life. So for me, that is working out. For me, that is having a good marriage. For me, that is building a business, but always showing up the same every time for all of my people. So, and I feel like when I'm operating on all cylinders, when all that is in alignment, you're just in this state of like, everything flows. Everything seems to be coming to you. People want to join you in business. People want to buy from you. That's what happens just by moving. But one other thing I kind of want to touch on, and then we're going to pass it on over because I know we have a big call. But I'd say, and I was reminded of this too, I give Tom Ellison credit for this, but when you become obsessed with something, the results come, right? So become obsessed with understanding what your energy is. Become obsessed with what your cadence is going to be for the day. And for me, that's why I start at 5 o'clock. Become obsessed with building that best version of you. And today, I mean, you can commit to that. Have better actions today. Take better actions. Make better decisions. Have a better mindset. And I've heard this before. I'm sure you guys have too. If you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you play good. So get in the game, get yourself moving. And I promise you, you're going to build a really big business here.
That was awesome. Thank you, Jamie. I love what you said. And I think it's a real important point for folks to hear is commitment generalizes, right? So your ability to commit in one area of your life will improve and affect your ability to commit in other areas. So wherever it is, or however you start, the most important part is to become a person who commits and follows through. So thank you so much for that, Jamie. Awesome.
Love
Crushing it. Well
Love
done,
it.
Jamie.
Clearly it works.
Awesome.
I thought about just sitting here and like
I know.
showing
That's all you needed to
5
do.
minutes. I thought that would have been fine.
Well, you
Would
started
have been.
every day at like 5 in the morning. Like I'm always
5:02.
amazed. Like it's the
5:02.
different time zones, and I'm waking up in the morning, and I'm like, like I'm getting out of bed, taking my kids to school, and you've already got a post on social media.
What is the
Yeah.
psychology behind the O2? Is it kind of like TBS used to have
so
Braves
strange.
games at
That's what I
6:05?
was wondering.
It's like in sales, something's $4.99 and it looks better than $5.
Those extra 2 minutes. Whew.
Yeah, it might be the best 2-minute sleep you get too, right?
So you're not
Right.
like hitting snooze at 5 for 2 more minutes. You're like,
Oh,
up-
you hit snooze, you're not going.
you snooze, you
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah, you see, if 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mel Robbins, you get yourself out of bed, put your feet on the ground and get moving.
All right.
Back that up, Spivey.
I know I've got to get better, but mine's weird numbers. Mine's 6:43.
Hey,
Yes.
let me Let me ask this also in a serious note. Rest and recovery is also extremely important when you're going to the gym as much as you do. For the longest time, we came up in a culture where everybody was, Casey, you remember this, where they would brag about being able to live off of 3 or 4 hours of sleep and like, I don't need to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead type mentality.
Yeah.
If you're up at 5:02, first off, do you agree with that it's sleep and rest is extremely important? And does that mean that you're 10 o'clock in bed, 9 o'clock in bed? How many hours does it take for Susie to be at peak performance?
We put our kids to bed at 8:30 and I'm usually asleep by 9.
Wow, that's good. Yeah,
love
so
it.
you're getting your 8.
Oh, I'm getting 8, but also I do not go to the gym on Saturdays and I do not go to the gym on Sundays.
Full
Those are
rest.
just
Yep. It's good.
every day. Yeah.
Love
Very
it.
good. I love that message,
Boom.
guys.
I do
Get
too.
committed.
Just like the power of, because I think one of the dangers in this business, and I've fallen into this, is you start to seek comfort. You know, you start getting your business in a place where you can be more comfortable. You can buy some comforts, you can pay for someone to mow your lawn, you can pay for someone to do, and you start to get into this comfort zone. And you start to realize like, that's not where the gold is. The gold is actually figuring out how to challenge and stimulate yourself. And sometimes like doing something hard at the beginning of every day. Some people do a hot or a cold plunge or something, you know, like something that's really hard to do, because now every single challenge that comes up is just like, it's a lot easier to deal with when you're just not in your comfort zone all the time, you know, and you're exercising your brain in that challenging way. It's something to that, you know?
Yep. Well said. We're going to throw out some challenge here today.
Yes.
Jamie, thank you. Doug, Spivey, and Danny. Hate that we missed that. I just felt like it was.
I caught the last like minute of it and it was mind-blowingly awesome.
I know. Dang it. We'll have to go watch the
Really good.
watch the review.
Danny can blow.
Danny can.
In case you didn't know, Danny can blow.
Absolutely.